Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to what is kind of the first installment of the Yankees Avenue podcast. This has been something I've had in the works for quite some time now, and it's just finally getting underway. I've been meaning to do this since probably the start of October, November. Kind of procrastinated a little bit with it. But yeah, to start out, I'm just going to give some information about myself for those who don't really know me. So I started this YouTube channel back in 2014. Long story short, I've just always watched baseball and have watched highlight videos on YouTube, so I started my own channel. And then today we just hit 4,000 subscribers, which is pretty sick. So right now I'm currently the editor-in-chief at unhingedyankees.com. I own at Yankees Avenue on Instagram, which has over 26,000 followers right now. And NYY Home Runs on Instagram, which has 8,000. On NYY Home Runs, all I do is just post Yankee home runs, give the exit velocity and, career totals, season totals, all that jazz. For this podcast, it's called the Yankees Avenue Podcast. And it's going to probably stick between 15 to 20 minutes long each episode. And that's to start out. It could get longer as things go on. It's going to air every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And as we get closer to the regular season and maybe a little more into the season, it could expand to multiple times per week / longer episodes like I mentioned before. And for now, it's just going to stick to YouTube. It's not going to go on to any podcasts or SoundCloud, anything like that. But yeah, expect this. I'm really going to try to stick with it every Thursday at 5 p.m. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And also, if you don't already, follow me on at Yankees Avenue and definitely at Twitter at Dan Allen Rourke. All those will be in the description anyways. Alright, so to start out, I haven't really done one of those Q&A videos in over 2 months. So there is a bit of news to cover. And like I said, I'm going to try to stick under the 20-minute mark. So the most recent news, obviously, is Manny Machado. He's no longer on the free agent market. He signed a 10-year, $300 million deal with the San Diego Padres. And to be honest, I really do like the move. I don't like it in terms of the Padres' likelihood to, contend and win a World Series, but in terms of just the fact that they went 66 and 97 last year, and now they're continuously putting money into their team, even just after signing Eric Hosmer, which it was actually an awful deal. He was awful in 2018. But even after signing Eric Hosmer to an 8-year, $150 million deal, then they go out and sign Machado 10 years, $300 million. I'm not disappointed whatsoever that the Yankees didn't sign him, especially at that clip. When the original offer, when the original first report came out that Machado was apparently, his highest offer was $7,175 from the White Sox. At that point, if the Yankees didn't sign him for $175 million, I would have ridden it. But at $300 million, can't complain. The Yankees weren't really, in that market. But yeah, he has an opt-out after 5 seasons. He's currently 26 right now. The contract will take him to age 35, I believe. And as of right now, for next day or so, it's the largest free agent contract in the history of North American sports. Obviously, Bryce Harper's going to sign probably next week or so, and he'll probably break that. I'm glad Manny got his money. I mean, good for him. It's always nice to see a player get a contract to that size, but people are comparing it to A-Rod's 10 years, $275 million deal. It doesn't compare whatsoever, because if you took A-Rod signed a 10-year, $275 million deal in 2007. The MLB was a $3 billion industry at that point. Right now it's a $10 billion industry. If you took A-Rod's 10 years, $275 million that he signed back in 2007, put in today's terms, I'm not going to do the math, but it's definitely more than worth $275 million, more than worth a $300 million deal that Machado got. So if you look at the inflation in terms of MLB numbers, A-Rod's contract still has, a little more clout to it. All right, so the next topic is, it was already known, but CC Sabathia announced on Friday, I believe, or Saturday rather, that he's going to retire after the 2019 season. It's definitely going to suck to see CC go. I mean, he really has been underrated the past couple of years. All in all, he had a 3.65 ERA last year, 4.16 FIP. He's a good 5th starter. He's been a good 5th starter or 4-5 starter the past 3 years. He is one of the greatest pitchers to ever put on the pinstripes, that's for sure. Honestly, it may sound crazy just hearing that at first, but check out the numbers. He really is. And another story with the Yankees pitching staff. Luis Severino the other day signed a 4-year, $40 million extension with the Yankees. I love this deal for the Yankees and for Severino. Obviously, the AAV is sitting at $10 million per year, and there is a club option for the 5th year, $15 million. I mean, I'm glad the Yankees Sevy didn't have to go to arbitration. You never really want that. You saw the controversy it created with the Yankees and Dellin. But for Severino, I mean, yeah, $40 million, hard to turn down. The Yankees are getting him. I mean, they can buy out 1 year of his free agency, and with the 5th-year club option for $15 million. So I think it's a steal for the Yankees. But it's not like Severino got screwed over, though. I mean, I think it's a good deal for both ends. And in terms of Severino's extension, that could bring up the topic of other possible Yankee extensions. Does Judge get extended in the future? Does Gary Sanchez get extended in the future? Aaron Hicks, maybe even Dellin Betances. Because Dellin Betances, he's a free agent after 2019. Aaron Hicks, I think Hicks might be I actually forget. Hicks is either free agent after 2019 or 2020, I forget. But Judge, I don't know if he's going to sign an extension anytime soon. I'm thinking probably a year or so into arbitration, maybe. I never really thought once Jeter retired, I didn't think there'd be a captain just, like 5-6 years later, but I think Judge is more than qualified to be the Yankee captain. I mean, he kind of already is, next to CC Sabathia in the clubhouse and Brett Gardner. So I think it's only a matter of time before he's officially named captain. Gary Sanchez, I mean, I don't know, I think it's tough to really want to extend a catcher just yet. And I'm a big Gary fan. I think he's primed for a great 2019 season. But one thing, though, Gary Sanchez probably would be decently easy to lock up. A lot of Dominican kids and just foreign players in general, they are much easier to lock up in terms of contract extensions on the cheaper end, because obviously they grow up in a more poor setting, so they see money, they grab at it. And that's probably what happened here with Severino. Severino could have easily gotten more money, especially for his first year of free agency. He could possibly only be making $15 million that year. There's a very good chance he could have been making $35 million that year. So yeah, that wraps up the topics that are the main discussion of today's podcast. And keep in mind, today's podcast is a little rushed. It's like 1:04 a.m. on the Thursday morning. But yeah, so grinding the rust off a little bit. So after this, we're going to do the questions segment. So like I said before, if you don't follow me at Yankees Avenue and at NYY Home Runs, go ahead and do that, because that's where I get the questions. When I do these podcasts or Q&As, I put up an Ask Me Anything question thing, and then I have the questions submitted. So we got about 200 questions submitted in. I'll probably try to do 10 to 15 of them, because a lot of them, honestly, they're just repetitive. Just like questions about Machado, questions about Harper, how many home runs do I think Judge is going to hit, stuff like that. So to start it out, Ben Moore's 22 asks, is Aaron Judge the best right fielder in all of baseball? I mean, since he came into the league, and since his rookie year, his full rookie year in 2017, if you go, because obviously it's between Judge or Betts. Look at the stat comparison between the two since 2017. Judge does have the edge in most categories besides stolen bases and WAR. And WAR, that's a little skewed, obviously, because Judge was injured in 2018. So yeah, Betts has played about 20 more games in the past 2 years. I'm gonna go with Judge. And MLB Network agrees. MLB Network's the shredder. They're unbiased algorithm to say which player is the best in their top 10 right now series. They said Judge is the best as well. So Richard Gregory 40S, do you think CC Sabathia is a year late on retirement, and why? No, he's definitely not a year late. I mean, he's still more than a serviceable pitcher. I mean, one thing's for sure, I don't want to see CC pitch another playoff game. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way. The Yankees should be smart enough to field a pitching staff that is suited so CC Sabathia doesn't have to pitch an elimination game like he did last year and in 2017. Honestly, same deal in 2017. CC shouldn't have been pitching in the playoffs. Luis 24-2B asks, why does Judge hit second and not third or fourth? It's kind of the new analytical way of thinking. If most analytic guys had it their way, Judge would be leading off. But pretty much the mindset behind that is you want to maximize a player's value. So by slotting Judge in the second hole instead of the 3 or 4 hole, he's going to see more plate appearances over the course of the season, obviously. So you're giving your best player the most at bats, the most chances to change the game. Garboke asks, any chance the Yankees trade Stan? Maybe a 5% chance. 1, I'm not sure if they even want to trade him. 2, I don't know a team that's really going to take on that contract. And 3, I don't want Stan traded anyways. I think Stan's going to have a great year in 2019. What do you think the Yankees record will be? Thomas_IPP7 asks. Oh, geez. I think they'll right around, I'd say 97 to 103 wins. The Yankees are definitely a better team now than they were last year, and the Red Sox are a significantly worse team than they were last year. Oh, this is good timing. Johnny Carroll 7 asks, how can the Red Sox win the World Series and still be worse than the Yankees? Wow, that was really good timing. Well, oh no, I'm not. I mean, I may be an outsider here, but I think the Yankees were the better team in the 2018 ALDS. Obviously, this series went Boston's way, but I mean, if Gary Sanchez hits a ball 5 feet further, there's a Game 5. If Luis Severino pitches how he should, there's a Game 5. If J. Happ doesn't give up 5 runs against a team that he usually dominates, there's a Game 5. And anything can happen in Game 5. So, I mean, with all that, I think this series just went Boston's way, and I'm not discrediting them whatsoever. But I think the Yankees already were the better team, if not just an equal team. That's what I mean, at least an equal team. And Boston has gotten worse. They're not going to re-sign Craig Kimbrell. They've lost Joe Kelly. They're counting on Dustin Pedroia to play second base. God only knows how that's going to work out. And the Yankees have honestly improved significantly. It doesn't matter they didn't sign Bryce Harper, they didn't sign Manny Machado. They added Adam Ottavino, brought back Zach Britton, brought back J. Happ, added Troy Tulowitzki, DJ LeMahieu. Honestly, I like their signing big time. And they added James Paxton. Can't forget about that. Player of all time. Most people do know this. It's Alex Rodriguez, the greatest Yankee third baseman of all time. Ross J. Caridi asks, are we getting Harper? No, we're not. R. Johnson 97 asks, does Clint Frazier take a job this season? Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I'm not gonna put money on it, but he's definitely in going into spring training looking to win that job, and I like that. I like the way he plays, and I like the attitude he brings. But yeah, I mean, you got to figure somebody's gonna go in the DL, and Jacoby Ellsbury already is on that. Well, IL, I should say. Jacoby Ellsbury's gonna start the season on the IL, so there's a very good chance Clint Frazier could at least crack the opening day roster as a fourth outfielder, and then injuries can happen. So he's one injury away right now from being a starting left fielder for the Yankees. Justin _Alonzo 30 asks, Harper isn't worth it because of average games played. Only once RBI changed my mind. Only once 100 RBI changed my mind. Well, one, and the Yankees aren't getting Harper, at least the way things look right now. But Harper is a great player. Don't look at batting average. Yeah, his batting average is 249, but his on-base percentage is 393. They don't pitch to him. You don't understand. They don't pitch to Bryce Harper. 2, only 100 RBIs once. Well, 1 RBI, I'm not the biggest fan of that stat. It really only counts on how good your team is, how often they get runners ahead of you, runners on base ahead of you. So it's a situational stat. I mean, it's not totally useless, but it's not my favorite. The way I look at it is this. Bryce Harper hit 34 home runs in a down year, quote-unquote. In a year where he hit 249, he had an on-base of 393. And you look at the years prior, I mean, his 2015 season, it was historically good. His 2017 season was on pace to be a great season, but didn't get injured. So pretty much what I'm trying to say here is Bryce Harper's definitely worth it. Will the Yankees add anyone to the roster before opening day? Matthews Ruma asks. If anything, maybe a 6th starter, but probably not. Will the Yankees have a stronger pitching rotation this year? DDevalve.49 asks. Yeah, their pitching rotation going into this year is definitely much stronger than last year. Obviously, you added James Paxton. You brought back J. Happ for the full year. I mean, pretty much James Paxton's replacing Sonny Gray. And now full season of J. Happ, and then CC's your 5th starter. So you're looking at Severino, Paxton, Tanaka, Happ, CC. When healthy, that's definitely one of the best starting rotations in the league. Future of Greg Burr, Sam Rosenblatt asks. I really want to see him do well, but at the same time, I'm a big Luke Voigt fan. I think Greg Bird will have success somewhere at some point in the MLB. I'm just not sure if it's going to be with the Yankees. Nick Set 2 asks, do you think we'll win the AL East? Yeah, I'm very confident heading into 2019 about this Yankee team, and mostly just because I don't think Boston was all that great last year. I mean, yeah, it takes a lot to win 108 wins, But one, a lot of things have to go right for that to happen. And it's just, the Red Sox really haven't done anything this offseason. They've gotten worse. So, Solomon Levy asks, where am I from? I am from the Jersey Shore in New Jersey. Well, yeah, obviously. Underscore Sam Cohen asks, any chance Sevy can bounce back and win Cy Young? Well, one, I wouldn't really want to say he's a bounce back candidate. I mean, yeah, he had a bad second half, but let's not say he had a bad 2018. He won 19 games, 3.39 ERA, a FIP under 3. But yeah, I think Sevy's gonna have a good year. I mean, just stop tipping pitches. You know. Vincent underscore Terminator asks, Red Sox playoff choke or World Series hangover? No, I definitely think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't see them reaching the World Series. Their bullpen is atrocious. I mean, their starting rotation is kind of the only thing that could really compare to the Yankees. And their rotation isn't bad. I'll give them that. They do have a decent rotation, but alright, so I'm gonna take about 2 to 3 more questions. Eric underscore Pete's asks, do I go to school? Right now I do not go to school. I have a full-time adult job that doesn't permit me to go to school, and I'm just not really much of a school person anyways, because with all the baseball stuff I do. Rich underscore Willis asks, why isn't Judge a captain yet? Too early in the process, definitely. Like I mentioned before, he's probably going to sign an extension, and then he'll be named captain. Let's see, last question of the day. Sam Hensinger asks, how will Paxton do in his first year in pinstripes? I think it just comes down to if he can stay healthy. I mean, if he can stay healthy, then he is one of the best pitchers in baseball when he is healthy, so I don't think there's any reason to suspect he wouldn't be anything different. So that'll be a big ad if James Paxton can be healthy for the Yankees in 2019. And I mean, it'll be nice to see what he can do in the playoffs. You gotta hope Severino figures things out in the playoffs. Snock is always a playoff god, so not really much to worry about him. CC shouldn't start a playoff game. J-Hap, very comfortable with him starting the playoffs. I mean, regardless of the dud from last year. Alright, so that's a wrap on the first episode of the Yankees Avenue podcast. I'm not even sure if I'm going to count this as episode 1. It's kind of just like a test/introduction podcast. I really want to keep this low-key during the off-season and /spring training. I get pretty riled up during the regular season, so I'll probably be doing might do some reaction videos to Yankee games, and yeah, so this season definitely a lot of video content's coming out. And obviously the compilations of home runs, all those highlight videos are still going to be coming out. So yeah, every Thursday at 5 p.m., be ready for the Yankees Avenue podcast, and I'll see you next time.
Her body's gold like September. She burns through the night like an ember. And all those things we try forgetting, I remember. But we say we all fine, we all fine. Sunny day dreams and we up now. Vodka lemonade, I serve it up, it goes down.